following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back, Lenny Randle's Hot Corner. It isn't exactly a regular show. Lenny, you're here. You're with your wife. She's in surgery. And give us an update. What's happening?
Well, I really, it's kind of, a lot of families try to keep it private, but, people get older, and what we have to do is take better care of ourselves, our legs, our age, our diets, our weight, our knees, our meniscus. So we got to, everybody's going to go through this, so some people need to realize that glucosamine and calcium and blood, different oils and vinegars and stuff will help prolong the calcium deficiency. But bottom line is we're all getting older, so we got to take better care of ourselves. So I'm dealing with that.
So she's got some knee problems. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, both knees, can't walk. You got to go through some therapy to get it done this whole week. That's what it's all about.
Is she going to have knee replacements or?
Debating knee replacement, right now the cortisone is working. People need to know that they're going to have to get your cortisone shots in the legs. They're going to have meniscus issues, walking stairs. It's going to happen to everybody, pretty much, regardless of who you are. And you just got to realize calcium, the more you eat, the more, you talk about eating cereal and Wheaties and joke about oatmeal as a kid, but you really got to have a great nutritional diet and maintain it throughout your life to keep your bone structure processing properly. So it happens to all athletes. She's a former athlete, track star, 440 relays, broad jump, Tennessee State track team, and the Mount Sac relays and all that. And it athletic wear and tear, basically. And it gets you, at some age. You don't think
as a fan and as an outsider to what goes on in the training process over the lifetime of an athlete, we're not aware. We go, well, this person is hurt. This ball player's on the DL. Why can't they come back? And this, that, and the other thing. And they haven't given us anything. They signed the contract. Take us through what rehab is like for an athlete who, in the prime of his or her life, is cut down by injuries and tries to get back. How that you could be making $1 million, and it doesn't matter, because this is the quality of life that money can't buy. And people say, well, they've got $1 million contract, but when you can't get up and walk down the stairs, $1 million doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm talking about.
The amazing thing athletically and non-athletic, just wear and tear for basketball players. I mean, I got friends from, Jordan Barkley to Larry and Bird, my nephew, Tyus Edney O'Bannon. Their knees, Tracy Murray, they're killing them because all the jumping and the wear and tear on the joint.
I didn't know.
Picture this. Picture yourself too. I'm sorry.
This moment. That's very interesting. How many athletes come out of your family, the Randle family?
we have 10 pro athletes, including Marcus Johnson, cousin, who was just on TV with Bill Walton the other day. White man can't jump. He's also an actor and an NBA great, UCLA great broadcaster, and Milwaukee Bucks player. He's had some knees issues as well. And it happens to all athletes that are, you're putting 240, 300 pounds on your knees. And you keep jumping on them like Jumbo the elephant, jumping on your back. It's wear and tear on your knees, your ankles, your joints.
I can ask you this then, whether it's legal stuff that athletes ingest or illegal stuff, does muscle bulk contribute unnatural, especially unnatural muscle bulk, contribute to all the tendon and ligament injuries that are going down?
See, the thing about it, we do 24 hours of training. It used to be 12. It used to just be seasonal. Just during the season, spring training to August, or, if you're in the playoffs, October. And then you take a break. If we, December, January, and then February, you go back at it again. Now, you train 24 months out of the year. And, oblique tears, meniscus tears, muscles that you never heard of, like Tommy John taking an arm.
You don't have the recovery time that you would normally have. That's part of getting better.
Well, with technology and doctor and stem cell and all the new developments, somebody's got to be a dummy for this stuff. Somebody's got to take that stem cell out of the left arm and put it over in the right muscle to make sure you can still throw. I mean, I've had Dave Parker jam a knee during a game because he took a jump and jammed his leg into the base, and all of a sudden he tore his knee. And they could say 2 weeks, and that was back in the day. And that was cortisone shot, Novocaine, and whatever else they would give you during those training amphetamine era years because they wanted you to hurry up and heal. Your muscle still has to heal, and if you don't, somebody's going to take your job, and you don't want nobody to take your job. So you play hurt.
They wrote a book about it with Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
It's only a bruise, they told him. And, right? To get back on the field, they took a world-class athlete. Why don't you take Secretariat, for Christ's sake, and put him back? That's just one example of it.
I had a friend. I had friends that took DMSO. Now, DMSO is something they use on horses. It's a salve. You put it on your tongue and numbs everything in your body. You put it on your ankle, your knee, your hamstring, your groin, whatever's hurting, and it numbs your body. So I remember Julio Cruz. I hate to throw him under the bus, but he was a great guy. And he goes, Lenny, you know anybody? I go, look, I got friends that own horses because my dad was into horses. And he goes, DMSO, so you can still the stolen base title. You might want to try it. And he did. And then when he came out, he made a joke of it. He went, Lenny, it's working. He said, I'm secretary number 2. He had a numb tongue, lost his taste buds, and he said, but it worked. And then, we had a couple of days off and he would heal, but it was a test. He really wanted, some guys are desperate. They'll try anything just to get a record or to get healed.
In a sense, can you blame them? Or do the players look at it as a science kit? We'll try stuff, we'll experiment, or how does that go?
I had some very interesting teammates. Doc Mettich, he was a chemist. You can call him a pharmacist, or you can call him a drug dealer. But they used to take milligrams of, you have coffee. People drink coffee or hot chocolate, but the espresso has a potent caffeine in it. And that caffeine can have 1,500 milligrams or 3,000 milligrams of caffeine in it. And it's legal because it's coffee, and not your Folgers coffee. It's your average Colombian coffee. And when you drink it, you're launched. And guys would go, well, I'll launch you today. I didn't know what it meant. I was naive, and I learned later that means they had more milligrams in them than the guy next to them. Half the team was launched. And we would go, well, what's Pete Rose taking? Well, he's on planet Mars. Because he would say,
incredible because non-athletes take cappuccino too, and it affects the. I taught traffic school on three bombs of cappuccino in my Starbucks vent.
We had a show on that, Ralph. Picture you taking your Starbucks with, I don't know, whatever you're going to put in an espresso. A picture double latte mocha with a shot of Mountain Dew and then a Red Bull at noon.
And then people wonder why their brain explodes.
Yeah. You got wings.
Yeah, I was just going along, and all of a sudden, the top of my head came off.
Yeah.
It was a great day.
Every executive. You ever see the lines in the morning at Starbucks to get a cup of coffee?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is our addiction. It is the modern. But we're in California. There are other things that are newly legal. Let me ask you, because I'm a cannabis activist, and I do a show on the network called Canna Chat. How big is marijuana in the baseball industry?
I was kind of like naive to seeing things going on in the league because I didn't have that around me. I didn't see guys smoking around me. But I could tell personality changes, like if they went into a bathroom or they came back from a night out in the town, I could read their body language and go,
goofy smile on their face and their eyes looking all slimmed, and all of a sudden.
No, we would go, well, so and so's gonna have a Cheech and Chong day. Because Cheech and Chong made it legal to watch their movies, and they would be doing it during their films and go, well, are you Cheeching and Chonging or what? And he goes, no, I'm just spaced out. And go, no, you're not spaced out, bro. You've been in that cannabis.
Now, as a performance enhancer, is it a performance deteriorant? How do you look at it? Because I play tennis high on marijuana. And by the way, marijuana itself, I just recently found out it's a racial slur. You should not use the term, use cannabis, not marijuana. Everybody out there, it is a derivative of some bad racial stuff that went on during prohibition of it. But I'm curious, not because I want to go, guys smoked up. I really want to know, is it, and this could, not from your experience, from anecdotal experiences, doesn't hurt you on the field, does it?
I don't know if guys using it on the field. I don't remember anybody trying to play and smoke weed or cannabis or whatever you want to call it. I remember guys that had asthmatic problems. I knew some friends that had asthma, and the doctor prescribed them to breathe with a sheet over your head, or legally they would show a nurse would show them how to use for breathing purposes because they had asthma. And I knew about people going to Arizona or Palm Springs because they had asthma, and they would go and get that prescription. And then it happened at an early age. I saw people that had respiratory, and a lot of people left California because of asthma. The breathing, the smog, the smoke, the whole area, just polluted air. And including my brother, who was a police officer, and he had asthma, and he had to leave to go live in Andy on Courtside just to get away from all the polluted air. So for a health reason, people used it, but I don't know if it was, I'm not a chemist. I don't know if it was pure cannabis or prescription cannabis or medical cannabis. I don't know exactly the terminology. We're talking 80s and 90s when things were not legal. But
we weren't thinking about medical stuff back then. We just smoked to get a buzz, and we knew mentally it did what it had to do, and that there was certainly some medicinal quality there, and continues to be, thank the Lord. And but I'm talking physically. I want to know.
The only thing I know that for stress, people are under a lot of stress in their life. The people are just going through a lot. I don't know anybody that uses it during a game.
And who isn't, Lenny?
Well, I mean, my thing is, if you laugh a lot and you have a sense of humor, and you have a happy hour and you're happy for 1 hour a day, doesn't mean you got to have a 6-pack of beer. I mean, you're happy, and you might have a cocktail or a glass of wine or whatever makes you get a buzz. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you joyful. That's a stress reliever. It doesn't have to be alcohol or booze or drugs or whatever.
It could be
makes you happy. Some people do painting, bicycling, meditation, yoga, Pilates. Some guys work out. That's why they work out so much, because they have to, men and women train and ride bikes and go all up in the hills where the leopards and tigers are, and they just got to have that nature rush, or skiing, or boating, or everybody has an outlet that they do in order to relieve their stress. Yachting, tennis. So everybody's different, but I've never known an athlete to use it during a game and try to perform, because I think it would throw your whole your mental state and your muscle memory would go to whack. You would slow you down, and couldn't play that way. It's just not possible.
Right. Now, there are other recreational drugs that don't fall under that category of you wouldn't play under. I'm sure that back in the 80s and what have you, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, all these stories about, does cocaine improve one's, anecdotally, does cocaine improve one's performance on the field? Does speed? Anecdotally.
It's kind of weird. I use an analogy because I looked at Roberto Alomar and David Eckstein. They were, 500, percent awesome on the field. They always gave you 500%. And then I looked at their home run production, like it would hit 5 home runs. So if David Eckstein hit 20 home runs, then everybody would go, wow, David Eckstein hit 20 home runs. But if he did do something, he went from 1 home run to 5, that doesn't make you better. Psychologically, it might make you better. If you have a positive mental state like Norman Vincent Peale and Gandhi and Martin Luther King, people that had a strong mental health, strong motivational, that's really the fuel you really need to play or do anything. If your mind is like, I'm 110% better than this guy, I'm 150% better than this pitcher, I'm going to steal off Gary Carter because I'm 150% better and get a jump off the pitcher so I can beat him. It's your mental state. And I'm going to, I used to watch Jason Kidd go.
Gary Carter, it's a classic. I'm going to break it down and get a clip of that separated from the show. It is, if you haven't done that on 60 Minutes or that would be they could put some Gary Carter and Lenny Randle footage behind you while you're doing it, and that would be an incredible thing. That was so beautifully well done. I got good as a non-athlete, and you know that I am an incredible admirer of anybody who you played minor league ball, you reached that level. Holy Toledo, let alone the rest of it. If you get a ride somewhere, if you get a ride to college on your athletic ability, that's in today's day and age, that's an unbelievable feat. Let alone you talking about a standoff, 2 world-class athletes. That's a hell of a clip. I'm going to start playing that as a promo, and I hope you can do that on 60 Minutes, because it really captures it. It captures what you guys are about. So that's
we play the game. It's a competitive challenge. I mean, you can watch the LeBron Curry thing going on. Whose team is better, Deion or Drice, or Tebow's team or Brady's team. So everybody's got a little competitive edge, and you go, well, who is the next pitcher or a player like? Like I would say, Ralph's son is like Jason Kidd. Now, I've made a comment that your son, Ralph, is going to be like Jason Kidd. That's a statement. If I see a pitcher and he looks like Troy Percival,
I hope he gets along with the wife a little better, but that's and he doesn't even have one yet.
But that's another stress element. See, when you leave the field, you got to be able to compete with your mate off the field and compromise. There's always a compromise. There's always like, who's got the pants in the house? You compromise.
Sometimes there are compromise techniques, and then sometimes there are techniques that really should not be recommended. He's human. We're all human. I just said that half jokingly, but what the hell? We're all trying, and the pressures have to be immense. I wake up in the morning, and if I pull out the Daily News and look at the back page, I don't see my face as the GOAT, as the Randle, the ground ball goes through Randle's legs and the game is lost, and $12 billion exchange hands to the bookies, and you walk down the street and you're a bum. The next day you hit a home run, you're a hero. How much pressure does that, not just Randle, but anybody out there, how much pressure does that evoke? One can't imagine it if they haven't lived through it.
What you got to do is have another hobby. You can't take it too serious. I know people look at it like, if I make this catch, the world's going to come to an end. I'm going to lose my house, I'll lose my car, I'll lose my life, lose my family, I'm dead. It's not that. It's a sport, and it's a hobby, and it's a game to some. And the better you are at a young age, like when you're playing Little League ball and you take that Little League mentality to your college level or your high school level, you're just a kid in a kid's uniform playing the same game you were in elementary and high school and junior high and travel ball. You take the same approach.
You're wearing the same uniform as your mentors and your heroes. Even as a kid in Little League, you knew they were on the same field and you weren't intimidated. But you were lucky. You grew up in an area where people were playing ball, and you had these guys come to the neighborhoods. I don't think players today do that in the community. I don't think. And am I right about that? It's
kind of weird. Well, some of the guys have left and moved to the suburbs. We call them suburban athletes now that are not going back into the hood or the community or the city. And those people, let me give you a quick example. Dr. Dre's birthday is today. Him and Snoop Dogg, one of the greatest basketball players and baseball players in the league when they were growing up. Their coaches told them to cut their hair. They didn't cut their hair. So my nephew's with them, Ed O'Bannon and Tyus Edney, and they cut their hair and they made the team. So it could have been, well, if I would have not went along with that, I could have been a great basketball player. But no, they chose to do music over sports. At least they had another vehicle.
Cutting their hair had a lot to do with their success in music, with the attitude that I ain't going to cut my hair to fit.
It's freedom, a freedom of expression is what it is.
Right, of choice,
some coaches,
of choice to do it your way, and that's why it reminded me of the passing of Oscar Gamble a couple of weeks ago, and how tough it was for him, because the big joke with the hair, the afro and stuff, he had to take some heat along the way to be.
But see, people don't really know the reason. Okay, they threw at our head every day. The guys, every pitcher threw at our head. They didn't throw at our legs, our knees, our stomach, our back, our butts. They threw at our head. So Oscar I'm growing this fro for cushion. It'll soften the blow. It's just cushion. Because he said, I'm gonna take them MF deep. I'm gonna take them deep. I'm gonna leave the yard. I'm hitting it out in the street. But meanwhile, if they hit me in the head, it won't hurt
as much.
So, as much. I mean, it softened the cushion. Then you have the helmet on, but the helmet in the hair was like, did he get hit? Did he feel it? And he'd go, that was like a bumblebee sting.
Yeah, well, you're laughing and smiling about it now, but the truth is, if you got the helmet, but if the ball hits you 15 millimeters of an inch below the helmet in that jaw, it can kill you, and you know it all when you're out there it's always in the back of your mind because the ball's hard and they throw it at 100 miles an hour. It doesn't take, the fear of God is thrown into you by the nature of the beast. And what you say they throw at us, they didn't throw at our heads. I know what you mean by that. And
it's not intimidate. So you would intimidate back. And when you're raised in a hood or a city, you know how to return the intimidation. You stare down, you charge them out, or you get them on the next play, or you follow them to their car, or you get them in the tunnel.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I bet that goes on, and as well it should, because you would have had to release that in some manner to stay sane and to that unnatural hatred that comes with it all. I hear you.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22. You raise up like a Marine kind of military kid as you're playing ball, because most of your coaches are military guys. For some reason, it happened that way. They volunteered to be your lowly coach, your Pop Warner coach, your basketball coach, and they had that esprit de corps, all man, let's take this hill mentality. And then in the interim, if somebody gets in your way, you mow them down or you go kill them, you tackle. But you're still a sportsman. What I couldn't understand is, after the game, why are we shaking this guy's hand? Some people go, well, let's shake the hands after the game somewhere. No, I'm not shaking the hand. The guy tried to kill me. Why would I want to shake the enemy's hand? I'll shake it at the restaurant or in a bar, and maybe not, or maybe his daddy or his baby mama, but I'm not going to do it because you're so tense. Some guys are so wired up during a game that 150% of them is like, win at all cost and take no prisoners, like the old Raider attitude. Somebody's going to get hurt out here today while we're out here being beasts and animals. Because, they used to really, Tatum used to actually rip people's heads off, literally. And it was legal. And then they changed the modify. All rules will be changed and modified due to anger management. You're going to soften up the sport. You remember, Ralph, when you took out a double play and the guy actually, like Frank Robinson, took out a whole team on a breaking up a double play? You never turned a double play on the Baltimore Orioles or the Cincinnati Reds because they get to the second baseman so quick. By the time you got ready to throw the ball, he's in your wallet, in your chest, his knees. Hal McRae, his knuckles and everything will be all in your chin. And if you weren't aware of
saving that out is like saving 1/27th of the game right there.
Yeah,
because
it is.
The game is broken down to number of outs in 9 innings. You got to get 27 outs to win a game. So you guys break it down to every play means something, and it keeps you in the. That's what keeps you in the game. Keeps your mind from wandering, and it's those little things that make the difference between winning and losing. It's not necessarily the batting averages or statistics. It's the intangibles that determine winning and losing. Am I correct?
Yeah, you remember the Utley play, Ralph? And on your point, Utley with the Dodgers, he took out the Mets shortstop. I mean, literally took him out, broke his leg. Okay, and then the next day he sent armor from London to protect himself because he's going to get hit on the first pitch, the second pitch. He's going to get hit in the parking lot on the way to the hotel, from the hotel. It was not a lot of love. and it's part of the game, but you don't break a guy's leg. You slide a certain way. So that element, I don't know if it's ever going to change. And people say baseball's not a contact sport. Are you kidding me? Why do you think? Remember the catcher with San Francisco Giants that had his leg broken?
Yeah,
because he was blocking a plate, and blocking a plate used to be the macho thing of your team. Everybody blocked. Yogi blocked the plate. Piazza blocked the plate. You name somebody who didn't block a plate to keep a run. Girardi even. I mean, it was part of the game to protect the team, protect your turf, protect the plate, go around me. And your catchers had to be like even Ivan Rodriguez. They had to be like Sosa, tough guys, like boxers like Rocky 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they kind of set the example of the team. And if a catcher was soft, then the team was soft. it transferred from the manager. That's why Billy Martin and Ted Williams and Torrey.
Well, how does unionization affect player competition? Because in a sense, the way it's set up now, the players are really brethren. They have the only working union in the United States of America, the only one that is effective the way things are, and they're working towards everybody's making $1 million or more. So does that affect the spirit of competition along the way? Today's game.
Well, I think the game's gotten softer, first of all, and I think collecting bargaining guys are getting chummier and friendlier, and I'm hoping they stay as competitive. I'm thinking be a little bit like hockey. Kind of, if the guy's going to brush you back, let him go fight for 2 hours or 2 minutes or until they knock each other's teeth out, and then they'll quit and then start the game again. If baseball was like hockey a little bit, then maybe it'd be chaos. Maybe it wouldn't. I'm not sure, but it's turning into golf.
Okay.
And the Latin players are bringing back more colorful, flavorful, fun, entertaining, like the World Cup. You watch the World Baseball Classic. Hopefully some people did.
I do.
You get a hit, you celebrate. It's a celebration. It's not you're not showing a guy up. You're just celebrating. I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I'm playing. I'm happy I'm supporting my family. I'm doing the meringue and salsa because I got a hit. I got a home run.
We all get to see through Altuve what that Latin spirit is about, and
amazing.
how that Latin spirit can take you to a championship. Just by
it loosens up your team. The whole audience bought into the Houston Moringa, salsa, let's get busy, dance. It's a fun thing to go out to the park and have fun at the park. It shouldn't be a funeral. It should be joy to go out.
Yeah.
You're spending $70. Be entertained. This is entertainment. If not, you're going to lose your audience.
Speaking of Latins who were superstars and certainly entertainers, Cha-Cha, Orlando Cepeda, was taken to the hospital. They don't have disclosing what's happening, but they take you there. It's not good necessarily a good thing. So let's keep a good thought for Orlando Cepeda. I'm out here in Northern California, and Cha-Cha's really something special.
Wow.
So,
I had the privilege of playing with him and Tony Perez in Puerto Rico. We call him the Baby Bull, and that's where he lived. That's his home now because he's Cuban descent. His family is loved and honored in Puerto Rico. And when he came to San Francisco, it pretty much changed his whole life, 360, because he didn't know, with the knees, and he's still trying to be a DH toward the end of his career. He was still trying to play like Tony Perez at the end of his career, let alone 2 bad knees. A lot of people didn't know it. His leg was shot. And he and Tommy Davis were that era where they were trying to hang in there as DHs when DH became a big popular thing. Yeah,
Tommy Davis hurt his ankle. That guy hit like 353. He was the next coming. He could run. Yeah. He can throw, and his career was still terrific, but it certainly was cut short. By the time he came to the Mets, he was a shadow of his former self. He played basketball at Boys High in Brooklyn, New York. He played with Lenny Wilkins, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Tommy Davis.
Yeah. Tommy was our hitting coach, Seattle Mariners, and Lenny Wilkins would come out every day for batting practice with Bill Russell. And we would tease Tommy. Tommy would go, our basketball team is better than your baseball team. Growing up in Brooklyn.
just the thought of those three guys, and you,
oh my God.
Just at a practice, just hanging around. Russell's. Did I ever tell you my Russell story, Lenny?
No,
Right.
no, go ahead.
I'm a 15-year-old kid growing up in New York, loving to go down to the hotels for autographs, and I'm down at the I think it was the Biltmore where the Celtics were staying about 6 or 7 short blocks away from the Garden. And as you and everybody else are aware, that Russell does not sign autographs. Bill Russell is not an autograph signer. He wouldn't sign an autograph for his teammate, Satch Sanders, one time. They got into it. So he and an old center in the NBA who was great with Cincinnati and finishing up his career with the Celtics, Wayne Embry, are walking towards the Garden from the Biltmore Hotel. And I fall into step with them and I say, Mr. Russell, I understand that it's pregame and you're in a hurry, you're nervous because you got to throw up before the game. And he looks at me, and he did his signature thing when he was nervous before a game. He'd throw up, and I said, "But you're playing the Knicks tonight, and Charlie Tyree is the center, and I don't think you have to throw up. You're not going to be nervous about having to play him." And he looks down and cackles. I just broke him up. I happen to have a color picture from Sport where he's got his elbow in Dolph Shays' chin, and he's going up for a hook shot. I said, Mr. Russell, since you have your elbow in the Jew boy's face anyway, and do you mind signing this for me? And he picks up the pen to sign, and I say, to Ralph, best wishes.
Wow.
Is that some balls or what?
Right.
And he looks at me and he smiles, and he kind of shakes his head, and he writes to Ralph. Didn't write best wishes, but he writes to Ralph, Bill Russell, and I had a woman friend of mine decoupage it onto the back of a piece of wood and ruin any value it had, except to me. And I still have that order. I still have that thing sitting on my desk to this day.
You know what's amazing about that story, Ralph? You're 16 years old, and you're a future journalist, and no one knows it, and you don't even know it. And you did your homework. You did a background check on growing up, his history. Most people don't do that. They don't take the time. They're not students of the game to study the game to be able to ask that kind of question. I
was a fanatic, but it showed I have a lot of weaknesses in life, as everybody, but I do have moxie. And just having moxie is a big thing. And
for those people that don't know what moxie is, it's also known as cojones.
Yeah, or
cojones in Spanish.
The ability to just, what's the worst that could happen? He could have said, no, I won't sign your autograph. That kind of thing. And having a sense of humor doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it helps big time. That's a great story because to this day, he's still, he's a nice guy. He's just not into the autograph signing thing. His personality.
No, and his thing is, I'll shake your hands. I want to meet you. I'll do that. But, when it came time, one time or another in life, everybody has a thing. He went to a card show. They paid him big money to sit there with Wilt and sign autographs one day. Back in the day, but his point was, what's an autograph as opposed to nice to meet you type thing. I certainly would
Up
remember.
close and personal. Yeah. Remember Roy Firestone? He was a journalist back in the day, and he used to do those talk shows with
my friend
all the athletes.
Ron Rabinovich is going to get him on this network in a week or so. He's got him, Roy Firestone, planned to be a guest, but of course I do indeed, from the Firestone family, if I'm not mistaken.
Great friend, good buddy, just to really get close to the athletes and the non-athletes, and he had a great human element to his interviews. And there was guys, him and Brian Gumbel and Dan DeFord. There's certain guys that had a certain oomph for a twist or humor, a comedy in their journalism or their broadcasting when they would talk. I call it the Johnny Carson syndrome. When Johnny made everybody laugh. And he could still be serious. And
Johnny had to go. It was more important to Johnny that his guests got the punchline or were the center of attention than it was that he was. He is one missed guy in this world.
He could heal America right now, I tell you. A guy could heal America. There's only a couple that come around in a lifetime. And I thought Robin Williams would be like that as well. And Jonathan Winters. But there's some guys that just have it. And Bob Hope.
We could add Lenny Randle to that, Lenny. Not just you're an ambassador of baseball, and it is my privilege to talk to you on a very regular basis and to post these things for posterity on YouTube. And pretty cool. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, Lenny Randle's Hot Corner. I wish Linda all the best. She's struggling, and give her my best.
Thank you. We're praying for everybody that has leg and joint problem. May you get in the jacuzzi, go in the pool, get in the ocean, and pray a lot. Take a lot of vitamins. Exercise, everybody. Exercise. God bless you.
Hugs are nice. Be nice to each other.
Thank you. Grazie.
All right.
Shalom.
Shalom, Lenny. We'll talk soon.
Shalom.
Adios, everybody. This has been terrific for me, as it always is. Lenny Randle, Lenny Randle's Hot Corner. See you later, number 11.
Grazie. Ciao. Shalom.